So this doctor, 6 months later, he had a cancer. Being a doctor, he has a lot of doctor friends, of course, and they treated him with chemotherapy, radiotherapy, injections, whatever, all the best medicine for him. Still, the cancer won't go away. In his desperation, he also seek alternative treatment. And now, why I say desperation? Because when you are dying, you're desperate when there's no cure. Okay? And why I say desperate is that doctors, especially Western doctors, they are the last person to adopt alternative medicine. So for him to finally say, okay, I will try alternative medicine, must be very desperate. You know? Okay. But there are doctors who are very open-minded to all kinds of possibilities. And alternative medicine should not be totally excluded. Alright? But in this case, he tried, and he tried. He tried all kinds alternative medicine as well. Also, it didn't cure him. Until one day he came across a program. You know, this is a Western doctors in the Western world. He came across a program of forgiving. It was a program that teach you how to forgive. I think a 1 week program or something like that. In the West, they have a lot of these kind of programs, you know. Very good, actually. Anyway, he joined the program. And in that program, he realized that he has a lot of guilt and anger and a lot of blame as well. Because partially he blamed himself, but in some part, at a different level, he also blamed his son. Why did you do it? Why did you decide to drive on that day? And why did you have to ask me? You know, sometimes we do that. Although we take the blame, we also blame others. Because it's always easy to blame somebody. Right? So he finds that there is a lot of conflicts, emotional conflicts within him, mental and emotional conflicts. And in that 7-day forgiveness program, he realized that, I actually do have all kinds of guilt in my mind, all kinds of blame and whatnot, all the negative emotions. And in that program, they taught him how to recognize it and how to release it. After the program, he continued to practice that. And the program also introduced him to meditation, so he also did some meditation. But he realized that he needed to work on removing all his guilt. He needs to forgive himself. He needs to forgive his son. He needs to forgive the other driver who knocked into the son. He needs to forgive everything about the situation. And again, after many months of doing all this, one day he went back for his follow-up in the oncology clinic, the cancer clinic. And his good friend, the oncologist, says, "Hey, where's your cancer?" Gone. The cancer was gone. Right. So this is another exceptional case of how a person can heal himself or herself just by clearing all the mental and emotional blocks. Mental and emotional. Starts with the mind. Once you start with the mind, the emotion will clear itself, and then the body will eventually clear itself. It may take a lot of time, but the good news is that even if you have started with your mind and you have relieved a lot of negative energy, but your body is still not healed, even so you would still have benefited. At least the disease would not have seemed so serious, so unacceptable, so painful. It will become more bearable. Okay? And the other benefit is, of course, if you did die of that disease, eventually, at least you would have a purer mind. That means that you will probably be able to die more gracefully, more dignified, without so much fear. Okay? And that itself is worth it, even if nothing else works. Okay? There's a lot of fear of dying. There's a lot of fear of dying. I see that in a lot of patients. Okay? So that is it. Let me take a sip of water. So, before I end, 5 minutes, enough to teach you a method on how to transform your emotion, the art of emotional transformation. This one I learned from an author, a Western author. He's not a Buddhist, but his method is very Buddhistic. So I like it very much, and it's very simple. 8 simple steps to emotional transformation. The name of the author is Christopher Vestra, Vestra, Vestra. And the book he wrote is called I Create Joy, The Art of Emotional Transformation. It's an e-book. Anyway, he outlined 8 steps to transforming your emotion, any kind of emotion, to a state of joy. The first step is that you must accept responsibility. You must always accept responsibility for your emotion. Why? Because your emotion is your own creation, not somebody else's. Nobody makes you angry. You created it yourself. The trigger may have been from somebody else, but you always have a choice how you want to react. And in that instance, you have chosen to react angrily. So it is your choice, it is your creation. So start by accepting responsibility for your emotion. Then the second step is to name your emotion. Why do you want to give a name to your emotion? Very simple. The moment you are able to name the emotion accurately, you have clarity, you have awareness, you are conscious of the emotion. Okay, so naming the emotion gives clarity and awareness to your emotion. And you will find, if you have never tried this before, that most of us have very limited vocabulary when it comes to describing emotion. Happy, sad, angry, that's about all. But there are a lot of very subtle emotional labels and description as well. So the more you practice this, you will find that you will learn more and more emotional words. Basically, it's a way to improve your EQ, emotional quotients. Now there are a lot of people who specializes in teaching you EQ. Very good program. So when you name your emotion, that's what you do. You become better at recognizing your emotion. You have more clarity and you have more awareness about your emotion. That's step 2. Let me see, I can't remember. Okay, step 3, letting go of the story. What does he mean by letting go of the story? The story is what happens outside that triggers off the emotion. And so, the story is something we always blame on. This and this event happened, that's why I became angry, or that's why I became sad, or that's why I became frustrated, because this and this happened. That is the story outside. On the outside, it looks like there's a story. But in actual fact, from the first step, we know that we create our own emotion. We decide how to respond to it. So basically, don't blame the story. So let go of that story. Let go of the triggers or the person who actually triggered off the emotion. In fact, use our emotion as our teachers. Our emotions are our best teachers. If you have an emotion, a negative emotion, and you look deeply into it, you will find a lesson there. And usually it will lead you to a belief that has been conditioning you to behave in the same manner all the time. So let go of the story. Let go of blaming. Don't blame, don't judge. Let go. Right? And the fourth is bless your emotion. Bless your emotion means be grateful for your emotion. Be thankful for your emotion. Why? Like I say, your emotion is your best teacher. When you look at your emotion as a teacher, then you can see that it is a gift to you. There is a lesson in there for you. And when you bless it, then you open your mind to possibilities. If you keep blaming others and if you keep resisting accepting responsibility for your emotion, you will never look inward. You will never look to try to find out what is the belief that is causing this emotion. Then step 5, feel your emotion. Meaning you allow yourself to release the energy associated with the emotion. If there's a lot of anger, just feel it and say, okay, I'm experiencing anger. There's a lot of mindfulness you need to have here. Most people can't do this. So that's why meditation is very useful. It increases your awareness and mindfulness so that this kind of steps becomes easier for you. If you don't have the kind of mindfulness or awareness, going through this step can be very difficult. So the first thing to do is to train your mind to be mindful. But once you are able to be mindful, then these steps becomes very logical. Feel the emotion, because you don't want to resist the emotion. If you resist, it persists, it stays on longer and becomes a block, remains there. If you allow yourself to experience it in a positive way, in a conscious way, then you don't cause too much damage. And once the energy is released, you let it go. You don't cling on to it anymore. Okay? So feel your emotion and let it go. Then, step number 6, ask for clarity. Ask for the lesson. Ask for clarity. Is there a lesson for me here? Number 7, identify the belief behind your emotion. Like I said, behind every emotion, there is a false belief, or there is a self-limiting belief, a belief that is not working well for you. You want to change that. So step number 7 is to identify that belief, and step number 8 is to replace that belief with a newer belief, a more effective belief, a more wholesome or skillful beliefs. That's what the Buddha used. The word that the Buddha used is skillful. The Buddha never said this is good, this is bad, but this is more skillful, because using this you get the desired effect. This is not so skillful because you want to continue to stay on to this belief, the effect is not what you want. So it's not a skillful way of keeping the belief. So you want to discard all the unskillful or ineffective beliefs and replace them with more positive and more effective beliefs. Okay? So those are the 8 steps. Accept responsibility for your emotion, name your emotion, let go of the story, bless your emotion, feel your emotion, ask for clarity, identify your belief, and replace that belief finally. And when you do that, you would have replaced the imprint in your mind that has been playing your life all the while, like an old broken record. Now you have more awareness, you have better control. You can choose what you want to believe. Okay? When you choose the right thing to believe in, when you choose the right thing to focus on, then you get what you want. Right? Now, before I end, I must emphasize that there are a lot of people who says, you know, Dr. Ong, I have this patient actually who says, Dr. Ong, she had cancer, she had breast cancer. The breast cancer has been removed, and she was living a very strict diet, and she exercises every day, and yet the cancer recur. And she said, Dr. Ong, I have done all that is necessary to lead a healthy life. How come I still get my cancer? I say, what did you focus on? Did you focus on your illness? Did you focus on the fear of getting the recurrence? Or did you focus on just being healthy? There is a big difference. Because whatever you focus on, you get it. If you are looking after the food that you take and doing your exercise, because the thing that motivates you is that I'm afraid I will get the recurrence, I'm afraid I'll get the recurrence. That is what you focus on. That is what you will get. On the other hand, if you choose what you eat nicely and you exercise regularly, and the focus is, this is going to give me a healthy body, this is going to give me a healthy body, this is going to give you a healthy body, then eventually this is what you will get. Externally, the habit is the same, but the mindset is different inside. And that makes a lot of difference. That makes a major difference to the outcome. Okay, so you also must know how to focus. Never focus on the negative, because whatever you focus on, it will come to you. If you focus on the negative will come. So you focus on the positive, and you focus only on the positive. Each time you catch yourself focusing on the negative, change that to something positive. Instead of saying, I don't want to be sick, you should be saying, I want to be healthy. And you should imagine yourself being in good health. That's the difference in the focus. Okay, the reason why I say I need to say this is because it makes a big difference. If you know it, then you can do something about it. Okay, so I hope that now you have a clearer understanding of how the Buddha's teaching has actually showed us that if you want to live a healthy life, if you want to be free from sickness, start with your mind. Purify your mind. Keep your mind in a positive state of mind, of health. Okay? With that, I thank you for your patience. I thank you for your attention. Sadhu.